Just listen, hear that? That's real amplifier, tube amp. Real amp, tube amp. Had to put it on standby. I've had that thing on all morning because I wanted to play it on this live stream, and I wanted to. The last thing I have to do for this new song is put a guitar solo on it. So it's done. If I get some people in the live stream, so tell all your friends. If I get some people in the live stream, I will play the new song before it's released. The mix is fire. It sounds good. I love it. I've been listening to it in the car, just tweaking a couple things, put on a few BGVs last night and this morning, and that's what we're doing. But we're going to get into the music news in just a minute. It is October. Don't rush time, man. You know, it goes too quick anyway. October 24th, 2025, in the year of the Lord 2025. And we're just rocking, man. I got the day off work today. Had some stuff to do. Had some stuff going on. Just personal things that I don't like to talk about on here in case anybody from work is watching. It's, health related stuff. But I got to take my son to school this morning, which I always love to do. He's in kindergarten. It's great. I want to jump right into some music news because we've got some cool stuff that just happened. Number one being the Foo Fighters, and not just the Foo Fighters, Queens of the Stone Age as well, announced that they're doing a co-headlining tour. And I hope, man, because we all know that Dave Grohl played drums on that Foo Fighters record with No One Knows. I think it's Songs for the Deaf. I've got my cheat sheet over here. I know all these records and things, but I'm trying to keep a lot of news in my head, so we're gonna and I write them down old school. Sometimes I do them on the phone too, but I like to just have that piece of paper handy so I can grab it and do some notes. So that tour should be amazing. The Foo Fighters kind of been off the grid for a little while since Taylor passed away, R.I.P. Taylor, but they did some shows with Josh Freese. Now they're back with Ian Rubin on drums. I predict a new album. I think they've been cutting songs, and probably a new album for 2026. Queens of the Stone Age as well, fucking awesome band, and they've been doing some stuff, live lately, so it's really cool that they're getting together, and I'd really like to see Dave Grohl play on some of those Queens of the Stone Age songs. Eric Valentine produced that record with Dave Grohl on it. There's a lot of great stuff on Eric's YouTube channel and on his Audionaut Institute thing that he has. If you're into music production, go check that out. He talks about, he breaks down the whole tracking. Actually, I think maybe that video got taken off because the Queens of the Stone Age guys are a little, they like to keep things a little bit under wraps about how they get those sounds and what all goes on. But for a while, I know, I have it downloaded on my phone. The music production for that video was up for a while and somebody reposted it. I don't know if it's still up there, but check it out. Eric Valentine, No One Knows production. If you type that in Google, you should probably get it. It's really cool to hear how he did things, because they were using bass cabs for guitars, a lot of cool shit. So if you're new to the channel, this is a music production channel. We produce music here, and that's what I've been doing. That's why the guitar is on and ready. My nerves get a little bit going, but we might play some more guitar. I just wanted you to hear too that, and I was probably clipping when I brought this microphone in, because I have a 57 on the cab. Usually I put the Royer on the Trimoverb 2 on the 4x12 because it sounds great. not quite as much on the old twin back there, even though it's as loud. Really, it's 85 watts. They say the trim of verb's 100, but I mean that twin over there has a 12-inch JBL in it too, and that thing is clean and loud. And then it's got a stock, like when they put them out in '68 through the early '70s, you could get them with JBLs in or with the stock Fender speakers. I'm not sure what those are actually in it. I forget. Maybe Jensen's. I can't remember, but you could get them either way. I haven't seen any other cabs where it was one of each. So I don't know if it came from the factory like this or if the guy put in the JBL later. I got it from a estate sale a couple years ago, right around the time the Beatles Get Back movie came out, and they were hot, so I paid up a little bit for it, but not nearly as much as they're going for now. So if you don't know about those old twins, it's like a black face, even though it's a silver face. They call it a drip edge. It's got the like band of aluminum going around it, and they call that a drip edge. But really, those are the early ones that have a stock blackface circuit, so AB763 and those. And I said a 68 just because that's when they're known to really come out, but all the date codes on the parts on that amp are 67, so it's really cool. I like if you listen to my music, what it is a lot of times is that twin on one side and the dual rectifier on the other side. A lot of times, sometimes I do digital, like this new song has one part in it. It's got a lot of guitar parts, but everything is tube amps except for one part, and it's kind of the coolest part in the song, because I tracked it through a rat pedal into a Jim's 45, and then I put an amp sim on after, so like post all the recording DI, and then I put some I put a Valhalla plug-in on it, and it gives us this really, I mean, it's like over the top buzzy driven sound, but it's really cool in the song, fits well in the track. So that guitar sound on, that I played in with, I was trying to get the amp to feed back a little bit. It was feeding back great, like they do. Before I put it on standby and I went outside for a second, and then when I took it off standby, it's like it was harder to get the feedback. I think I was holding the notes longer earlier. Probably just me being a little bit hyped up and nerves going for the live stream. But yeah, subscribe to the channel. I've been doing, I make long form videos. I'm really good at the editing now. It took me a long time to get there on the video editing. Audio too, for that matter. But the music is great. It's up. Go to any of your streaming services, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube Music. I feel like YouTube is really the place where people are going now, and that's cool. YouTube Music's great. It's better, I think, than Spotify. It's where I go. I pay for YouTube Premium, so I just go ahead and get my music on there usually too. But I go listen to it. Really, I think it sounds the most like the actual, how I actually release the WAV file on Apple Music. They say it's like they don't mess with it. They don't fuck with it. On Apple Music, they say, and I hear that. It sounds more true. I don't know. I think the other streaming services maybe put some kind of light compression on there. They definitely do if you're going over that LUFS mark. Not really what they say. They say -14, but really if you listen to any songs on streaming, they're hitting -8, -7. This one I've done is hitting -7. So if some people get in the chat, I don't really like to play my music before it comes out. It's going to be out in a few days. I've got it mixed, but I do want to put a guitar solo on. But I wanted to, before I got the solo, I had everything exactly the way I wanted it, so I wanted to mix the song, and then I'll put the guitar solo in and then fit that in the mix, and it'll be ready to go. So I'll play that song if I get some people in the chat, even though I don't really like to do it. I'm hyped about this song. It sounds really cool. It's a rocker. It's not that clicky, chugging guitar, clicky bass drum shit, but it's rock and roll, Let's get into some more of this news, and also subscribe to the channel. I think I was getting ready to say that, and then I started talking about where you could stream my music. So do both those things. Go stream some of my music. Thirsty Deer on all the streaming services. There's songs like Zoo, Pixel Palm Reader, Didn't Sleep Last Night. I've got 11 songs up now, and they all sound killer. Save Your Dose is another one. Streets in the Dark is a good one. So we had some big high-profile deaths this week. It's pretty sad. All these rock stars that are getting up there a little bit in age, you have to worry about, they have to worry about their health, and we have to worry about losing them. So we lost Ace Frehley from Kiss, the Spaceman. I'm not the biggest Kiss fan in the world, but he influenced so many guitar players. I know there's like a Stone Temple Pilots solo. It might be on Tripping on a Hole in a Paper Heart. Might not be, but I think it might be that one. That's like, I think Dean said he pretty well ripped it off from a Kiss solo, and that's the case for a lot of guitar players that were big in the 90s, in those grunge bands. I know Mike McCready from Pearl Jam always lists Ace Frehley as one of his big guitar influences. So it was a hit for the guitar community for sure, losing Ace. So rest in peace, Ace. And then we lost Sam Rivers from Limp Bizkit on the last live stream. That was the day after he passed away, was my last live stream, and I talked about when I saw Limp Bizkit in 2000, and what a great show that was. I don't know how well that music stood the test of time, but I know songs like Break Stuff. I always liked Nookie when it first came out. It was a hit like from the start. That was the MTV like TRL era, and Nookie was all over that shit, along with like Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and boy bands, and it was just crazy how much variety we had in music back then. And everything was very categorized like it is now into genres, and it's still that way. So I don't know, I'm trying different times for the pod, so be a friend of the pod, and hit that like, hit subscribe. But I haven't put out as many long form videos, and usually my live streams are around 9 o'clock at night, so be aware that I do a lot of live streaming at 9 o'clock at night. Usually I'm doing about 3 a week right now. I'm trying to see if I can get some juice pump into this algorithm. Right now it appears that they're not letting anybody see this, so I don't know if all the YouTubers are releasing videos right now, but we're doing it live, man, right now. And I got to get back on the long form videos too, because, like I had a period about a year and a half ago, starting with this video I made on Rupert Neve, where I had a Mike Campbell video get 15,000 views. And I've for a while, a few months, every video was getting 1,000 views. Now it's like they changed something with the algorithm, and for a while it's been a struggle to get these videos seen, right? So I decided, I didn't think I even had the gear to be able to live stream. Then I found out that I could do summing with my TG2 preamps. I knew I could do summing, but going out of both channels summing, so you're not getting my voice on the right and my guitar on the left, or vice versa. Everything's going down the middle because of the way I'm summing. And so that made it where once I worked out all the glitches, I can now live stream. So we're just trying all the options to get this music heard, man. The thumbnail on the last live stream was, does music even matter anymore? Is it just about getting clicks, getting people to your profile or your YouTube channel or your, TikTok? I don't even do TikTok. But, people are big on the TikTok. So, and it's like, Rick Beato posted this thing with Halsey, and her record company wouldn't release her song. I guess they still haven't. I don't know. This was like last week, unless she puts out a TikTok about it. So it's like, unless you do your own press and PR work, the record, which is actually the record company's job. It's A&R, artist and repertoire. They're supposed to promote your shit and give you a chance, but they won't release her new song without her putting out a TikTok that they probably are telling her, it has to go viral or some shit, and it's ridiculous, So it's a struggle for everybody. So if your motives are pure and you're doing it for the music, then it don't matter, because the music's getting made either way. All I'm doing is clicking on this camera while I'm making music. Like, I've been mixing all morning. I got my son off to school. I was mixing very early this morning, and then I did some mixing, and I turned on this amp about an hour ago. So this amp's really warmed up and hot and sounding good. It's a 95 Trimoverb, by the way. I know there's guitar people, music production people that sometimes check out the channel. And now we're trying to get in this music news, and I've been doing it for the last 5 or 6 live streams, and I like it, man. Because we do, like, this day in history. Some cool stuff happened on October 24th, historically. My chair is probably creaking when I roll. Rush, we announced on another live stream, when they announced, Anika, the new drummer, Anika Miles, they had to put 11 more dates onto their schedule just because of how much, how interested people are in these new Rush shows. And now they've added 17 more dates as of, I think, 2 days ago. They put 17 more dates on their tour. So Rush, man, people are really feeling Rush. They want to see Rush. They want to see Rush with the new drummer. She is a total badass, so it'll be cool. Rush got started in the 70s, just a cool band, kind of more like prog band. Not everybody used to think Rush was cool, Neil wrote all those lyrics. Neil's gone now, so it'll be interesting also to hear if they do a new album. And then the new Bruce Springsteen movie, I believe it's out now, with Jeremy Allen White playing Bruce. Jeremy actually learned guitar for the movie, and J.D. Simo taught him, like, Bruce-style guitar, so he could, get those acting parts down and play Bruce to his fullest potential. So that's really cool that Jeremy Allen White, I know him from Shameless. Shameless is a really cool show that used to be on Showtime. I used to watch it all the time. Really crazy cool show. But I think he'll play a good Bruce Springsteen. And it's about the Nebraska album. So if you're into music production, the Nebraska album is like one of the first albums, that got a lot of notoriety for being recorded in a bedroom, in a home studio. So Bruce had a tape machine and an engineer. Sometimes he was doing it himself and recording these tracks for the Nebraska album, acoustic album. Great album, And then Bruce also is getting a lot of press right now for the No Kings protests. He's come out as supporting the No Kings Day and No Kings movement, and I think that's very, very cool. We've got people in charge who are, at the moment, not taking any regard for history, tearing down the White House. And, it's just a crazy world. Things that we never thought would happen are happening. That's all I'll say about that, but, that's where I'm at. If you want to talk about anything, not really politics, because if you're not on the same politics as me and you want to be, I'll talk to you, we're cool. That's not a reason to not be cool, but if you get into it in the chat, then, it's like I gotta remove you, because it's like, that conversation is never productive, it seems like, So we just shoot off the hip around here too, I say what I feel. I don't go off a script. This is just a little bit of notes so I know what the news is and don't forget, because I do these quite often and things will run together for me. But it's very off script, very rock and roll. This is your home for rock and roll on YouTube, by the way. So come to the Thirsty Deer Studio channel when you need to fix a rock and roll or some new music or anything in that area, some guitar, some drums. I thought about doing, I might still do it, like a 1 or a 2 mic setup on the drum kit and play like, because for a long time I wanted to learn Fool in the Rain on drums, and it's a pretty difficult part. It's definitely not 2 and 4 on snare, like, you know, the backbeat of rock and roll. It's that groove, actually, people call it the Purdy Shuffle, but it's a really cool groove, and I have it now. And I had it close one time, and I put up a short, and it wasn't quite there yet. And now I've got that Purdy Shuffle down. It's the Fool in the Rain, kick-ass Zeppelin drums. We love Led Zeppelin around here. And I wanted to play it, do a video maybe about it, or just do it live on the stream. And I can get a good drum sound with just 2 mics in here. But getting all the gain staging right for the stream where nothing's clipping or blowing out your eardrums is something I got to work out if I'm going to do that. But maybe one day we'll just jump on those drums. So today in 1995, so now we're going to get into, this day in history. Let me take a drink. This day in history in 1995 in the world of rock and roll. The Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan, Jimmy Chamberlain, James Iha, the whole band, Darcy, released Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. Cool record. Bullet with Butterfly Wings, Zero. Zero was my favorite off that album. It's just heavy and cool. 1979, a lot of classic 90s songs on that record. A lot of cool videos if you were watching MTV back then too. Just a cool record. 1995. Okay, then let's take it way back to 1962. Now I'm going to kind of go in chronological order. James Brown, while the Cuban Missile Crisis was going on, this week in 1962, Cuban Missile Crisis was going on, and today, on October 24th, 1962, James Brown recorded Live at the Apollo, a great live record, R&B record, great record. Then, in 1970, I put this on here because I saw it. It's not like big newsworthy, but it's a cool song. The Kinks' Lola. La 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 Lola. Hit number 9 in the U.S. charts. So that was 1970. The Kinks, early Kinks was about the time as the Beatles and the Stones were first coming out. The Kinks did, You Really Got Me. One of the first times we really heard overdriven, distorted guitar, and it was a different way coming from Dave Davies than he actually cut. I don't know if the first time, if it was an accident, but he began cutting the cone, the paper of the speaker to get his distortion sound. And I saw a more recent, like Facebook post where he did this, and it got that You Really Got Me sound. He took a razor blade and just put a little slit, and it really dirtied up that tone. Since I mentioned that, let me tell you what that guitar sound is. We'll probably play a little more in a minute. I've got to mute this mic when I do because this is going through a compressor, 1176 compressor, a hardware compressor in the rack, and then into 2 mic preamps actually. Well, 1 mic preamp compressor, then another mic preamp. But that guitar sound, that gnarly guitar sound, is just the dual rectifier, Tremo Verb dual rectifier with an XTS modded Boss EQ on it. So it's a mid-range, it's the Boss GE7 EQ, but XTS mods them, changes the frequencies, so it's all mid-range. It goes from like 400 to like either 4 or 7K. Let me look for sure. It's, from 400 to 4K on that. Very cool pedal. And like with my twin, I'll use a lot of pedals to get different sounds because that's a very clean amp. I really like going. People say they like fuzz with a dirty amp, but I really like it into that twin, more clean, so you get the pure fuzz sound, without the distortion on top. I've still got this amp on standby. It's been running for a while, man. I like that. Like the whole studio pretty much is lit up right now. I've got the whole rack on. I've got pedals on the desk on, pedals on the floor on. I've got the lights lit up. I love it when the studio's like this and I'm really working. I do it at night, but usually the tube amps aren't on at night. Like I'll have the twin on sometimes. But I've been running the dual rectifier with the gain higher than I used to run it. Used to be I'd keep it around half. Like that sound you heard now is about 3 o'clock on the gain. And I've got it pretty fucking loud in here. The master is up about 11 o'clock. So it's pretty loud in here. All those 412s are pumping. I wish I could put the Royer on there too and let y'all hear that. But then I wouldn't have enough channels to sum down with my mic pre's, my 1073, my TG2s. But anyway, this week, actually today, in 1973, John Lennon began litigation against the United States of America because he believed they were tapping his phone. And it's come out since that they were tapping his phone and trying to have him deported, trying to even lock him up. John Lennon was very outspoken about political views, which I think maybe we're not getting enough of that now, or people are selective about where they say their political shit. Like I'll see a lot of these YouTubers I watch, they won't say anything political on YouTube, and I can kind of get that, but like desperate times, whatever. But they'll post about it on like threads or whatever, which is kind of, it's like, I don't understand why people talk about it one place and not the other, but, it's whatever. Then in 1978, this day in 1978, Keith from the Stones, got sentenced, was, in front of the court a few days earlier. He had got busted with like an ounce of heroin. This was a big bust, and it changed the Stones. Basically, Keith got clean or, off heroin, at this time. He started working on getting clean. And he was sentenced to play a concert for the blind. So the Stones used to have this girl that was blind that went to all of her shows, and it was a very dangerous thing, to hear Keith tell it, for this girl to go to these shows, walking through traffic. It's crazy when you go to a Stone show. I've seen them 3 times, and it's crazy. And this blind girl used to go to every Stone show, Keith said. And she spoke to the judge and, told her story, told how big of a Stones fan she was, how Keith was a good guy. And the judge sentenced Keith Richards and the Stones to play a concert for the blind. I think it was actually two dates that they did, I'm pretty sure. And they did it, and because Keith was looking at 10 years in Canada, in a Canada prison for this. And so it was one of the most, very hard thing to go through. Jail, busted, all that. Turned into a very positive thing in a lot of ways. Keith got cleaned up, and the concert for the blind helped out a lot of people. So in 1988, Mike and the Mechanics, so Mike from Genesis, his last name's on the tip of my tongue right now, but Mike from Genesis released an album with this band, Mike and the Mechanics, and it was big. I remember this in the 80s. My mom always liked this song, and so it's The Living Years was a song, but the video was all over MTV too. and just that's just another album that sticks out in my mind from when I was a kid. So I put all the stuff that has personal connections to me on here because I feel like if it has personal connections to me, maybe it'll have, touch those same nerves with people. Music is a very emotional thing for a lot of people. If you love it enough to make it like I make it, or, however you make it, but if you're in the studio making music or doing these live streams or, doing this type of thing, you have a deep personal connection to music, and nothing could stop me from making music. It's what I do. I'd like to gig all these songs, but I'd have to put together a band because I play everything on the songs, and I raise my son full time, so it's not really possible. I could do some things, and if there was money in it, decent money in it, I'd make it happen. But I can't. It's too hard. So I just make my music and put it out, and every time someone hears it, a lot of times I get good comments on it. So it's nice when people hear the music. If I get some people in the chat on this live stream, I'll play that new song for you. We just put the vocals on, mix it, it's ready to go. I just need to put the guitar solo on. That's why you're heard the dual rectifier trim over cranked up in here today. Because I got the house to myself, no 5-year-old running around. I can crank shit up. We'll play it again in a minute. Today in 1995, Space Hog released Residential Alien. So it had that song In the Meantime. Really cool song. A song that was big when I was in school. And just a cool record. We're trying to hit all these events, musically historical events, through history on October 24th. So if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit like, leave me a comment, get in the chat. I'm all about building a community here, and I do the news, I do all this, and all these today in history, all these type of things, because it's important to me that, music's really going the other way, and we're losing like analog people really playing instruments on their stuff. It seems like people are just doing it for clicks. So it's important to talk about music, and that's what I'm doing. I also like to talk about gear. A few weeks ago, I talked about the new SSL channel strip. It's called the Revival 4000. It's like a G series channel strip, and a really cool mixing tool. The preamps in it are very clean, so if you're looking for that saturation, dirty sound, not dirty, but saturated with the harmonics and all that I love mic preamps for, that make my music sound great, that's not quite what you're getting this for, but it has great EQ on it, a great compressor. You put two of them together, you got stereo EQ and compression. It's also got a gate, a de-esser. There's lots of routing options in it. It's like having an SSL channel on your console. And then this week, just yesterday or 2 days ago, they put out another one that's almost the same, except it's from the G series channel. And so it's from the SSL, or from, I said the G again. It's from the SSL, what is it? I think it's a J. It's the one Michael Breyer used, the 9000. And it's cool. It's more, Michael Breyer was doing a lot of these more pop albums around the time. Like, that's what I think of with these 9000 series channels. And it's just a little bit different thing. But the channel strip basically has all the same features. Mic preamp, EQ, compression, de-essing, and all the routing options. But I saw a demo, and the guy was comparing them back to back, and it's quite different, the sounds that they were getting out of these two channels, right? And it's just a couple years later, come out of the same style console. It went from a G series to a J series. Just a little bit different thing, but the sound is quite a bit different. So there's some options if you're if you mix music or you record music, very cool gear. A lot of us use like SSL channel strips in the DAW. Like I use Waves one a lot. I use a SSL bus compressor, actually from SSL. I also have the Waves SSL bus compressor. I like the one SSL does a little better. You have more range on the like the threshold, or probably the input gain on that channel. It'll go to 20 plus 20. The other one I think only goes to plus 17 or 18. We can get that sound from plugins, but every time I get a piece of analog gear or try out analog gear, it always makes my music have something more than those plugins do. It's just a different thing. There's quite a big difference in compression, and I feel like with EQ too, we can do some amazing things with digital EQs, like with the Pro Q4, things like that. You can get very surgical, even more surgical than an SSL. But there are some channels out there, like the Undertone Audio EQs. That's what I want next for my rack, and what I want to, start mixing and recording through. I get a lot, like I love to track through the gear and then use it on the mix too, because then it's, every time you pass through the gear, it's more like going through a console channel, right? Because you have a lot of line amplifiers in a console. Just going from one section of the console to the other, the signal has to get amplified. And so if you just have one channel, you're getting a little bit of that transistor flavor from a lot of this gear. But really it's hitting multiple transistors through the chain. And then in 2006, Forbes announced that Kurt Cobain had overtaken Elvis Presley as the highest earning artist posthumously. So after they're dead, so Elvis for many years was the biggest earner on his music after he passed, and then just in 2006, so like 12 years after Kurt Cobain passed away, he passed Elvis on that. And Elvis had been gone since the 70s, so Nirvana just changed everything, and Kurt kept changing things and still does, so that's how impactful music can be. And then another thing for the guitar players, in 2018, Wah Watson played on a lot of those Motown songs, famous for using the wah pedal. He passed away in 2018. His real name, I always hear everybody call him Wah Watson, but it was Melvin Reagan. Passed away. So that's the guitar stuff. If I can, YouTube's not really putting this thing out where people are on here. I was gonna play the music. I'm gonna play out with a song in a little bit. I'll play one of my videos of tracking videos. That's how we always go out, so you can hear some music. But I might just play a little bit more guitar since I've got this tube amp opened up. Let's see. I'll pull up the instrumental mix and I'll just play a little bit with it. It's probably not mixed, the song's mixed right, but the level of the lead guitar that I'm going to play over it might not be perfect. It's not going to be perfect, but I have it okay, I think. So the new song is called Don't Be Precious, by the way. So, we're going to put that out on Monday. It should be out. It should be hitting all the digital stores. So, Monday, go check out Thirsty Deer, Don't Be Precious. It'll be out. It's a cool song. I hope you dig it. I'm going to play the instrumental mix and just play some of this amp so you can hear it over these parts. There's a bridge section where it changes, and that's really where I'm wanting to put the guitar solo, but I'm just going to play over the whole thing, so you can hear this dual rectifier. It's a cool, different dual rectifier, right? It's the same in most every way, but it has reverb and tremolo on it. I hear people say they don't like the tremolo. I think it's okay. I use it. It's not as lush as my old twin, but it's good. And the reverb is really cool. Like it, if you just track it on a little bit, it really just gives you a little bit more to your notes. And when I got this amp, I got this amp new in '95. I played it. It was right next to one of the, stamped metal diamond plate solo heads, dual rectifier solo heads, and the trim over blew it away. It really did. Now, I know there's a lot of people that love their original dual rectifier solo heads, but I'm just saying from where I was coming from, the trim over kind of blew it away. Definitely blew it away. So I got the trim over and I love it. So let's listen to this, and I'm going to mute this mic because if I don't, the amplifier coming through here will make you go deaf. I'm putting on the headphones, by the way, so I can hear the music, not because anything to do with how it's actually a mic'd up speaker, not any kind of aux box or power station or anything that's like an hour. I'm not using anything like that. This is a SM57 on the bottom left 4x12, and it's just the dual rectifier trim reverb. The only pedal is the XTS modded Boss EQ. I can even tell you I'm doing a little bit of a boost at 800, a little bit of a boost at 1.6, and a little bit more of a boost on 2.5 and 4K. So that's the sound. Here we go. So I forgot that I cut 4 bars out of that bridge for the mix I've been working on, just to shorten up the song a little bit. And I liked the way the change was when it was more of a swift cut from the bridge back into like the A section of the song. And so I missed the change. You know, I get a little nervous playing on these things, but I just wanted you to hear the dual rectifier a little bit. I make these live streams an hour long, just because I feel like I got a lot to say about music, and an hour is a good time. I usually start off the thing with either this new mix I'm working on, or with a one of my older songs. None of them are old. I've got 11 songs out. All of them have come out in the past year and a half, and there's probably just as many that I've made that I didn't put out because, you know, it's got to be something. You know, sometimes you don't know exactly how the mix is going to sound when you take it other places, like out to the car, or just the way the finished project's going to be. The way I work, I write in my studio, and for that to work, you know, you're just throwing down ideas and hopefully finding a stream of consciousness through those ideas and get them to work together, and then the vocals go on top. So it's a lot of pieces you're putting together, you know. Even if I write out a whole song, the music on a guitar, I still have to go back, put the drums on top. You know, the way a lot of big studios or people used to work was to get the drum tracks first. So the song would be there, but they would just play the song live in a big room, the whole band, and sometimes only keep the drums or keep the drums and bass and then put everything on top. A lot of us now work the other way, like we'll have the melody or the riff for a song and then put the bass. I usually put the bass next. I usually track both sides of the guitars, the rhythm stuff, and then put the bass on. Sometimes some percussion too, like a kabasa, like this. This can really do a lot in a mix. That mix actually doesn't have any on, but this is a cool thing to put in a mix. Shakers, tambourines, different kinds of percussion really adds to a mix. Just like layering background vocals really adds to a mix. And all these things that you try, even if you think they're not working, it's my advice to not get rid of the things that you track, because you can usually, many times, find a way to work them in, or a way to alter the sound, or just blow it up with distortion, make things work. You never know what you're gonna get, what can work if you process the sound right, and try to record through the best gear you can. But so to get those ideas cohesive and, you know, where it actually makes a finished product like you want. Most of the time I don't have the song when I'm starting out. I build it, and that includes the lyrics. So sometimes you don't always end up with something that you feel like you want to put out. I try and always record the audio in going good. I have these good mic preamps, you know, big studio quality preamps to get the sound right. Good microphones like this one I'm talking through. And this is a United Twin 87. If you're new, most people won't use a microphone like this for streaming, or, you know, for podcasts, or for live streams, or for even edited YouTube videos, because they pick up everything. They pick up stuff outside. I can't have the heat on right now. It's a little cold outside. Can't have the heat on with this thing on, because you will hear it. Even with the gate on, you'll still hear it when I'm actually speaking, because the gate or an expander only cuts after you're talking, but while you're talking you would get all this like, you know, the sound of the air coming through the vent, and it's not good coming through a mic like this because they're so sensitive. They have a big capsule on them, but I like to use it on my live streams and on my videos. I could use a dynamic mic. I have a lot of them around here, but the sound, it sounds more like a voiceover mic to me, and I don't do any EQing or anything on it for the live streams, but I do for the long form videos, because you can really get your voice to sound big, you know, kind of like the ASMR thing. Those are cool sounds. A lot of people like to hear just things recorded with a good mic. You know, just any kind of sound. The ocean. Snoop Dogg did a video where he was cutting up bud on the thing, and it was an ASMR video, and all the little crackles of the knife going. And, people are into that kind of thing, and these mics are great for that. They're so detailed, and this is like I keep zooming in when I'm going like this. This is a clone of Neumann U87. Not just one. It's got the vintage and the modern mode. Basically, it's two U87s in one. The U87 AI and an older vintage U87. And that's what it is. And it sounds like it. And instead of paying $3,000 for just one of those, this one was about $699 or $599. And it, like, I know a lot of songs that are recorded with the U87, and I feel like this has that quality to it. So that's what I'm looking for. If the sound's there, there's some products I stay away from, clone type products, just because of build quality things that I've heard about them. I don't want to spend my money on. I'm picky about the clones I get. Like my BAE 1073 BAE is the closest thing you're gonna get. It's basically a vintage Neve made new, right? So that's the kind of stuff I like to get for my studio because I really feel like there's a difference. And I'm trying to make the best sounding music I can here. So I don't get a lot of gear. I get like one piece at a time, and that I have to make that work because we're just shooting for the best sound here. It's important to me. So before I sign off, I'm gonna play another video, a music video of a song for you that I've recorded, and the tracking video. But before I roll out, I hope you all have a great weekend. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and leave me a comment. If you watch some of the live streams in the future, do get in the chat. Talk to me in the chat. And let me get you a song to roll out on. And I hope you all have an excellent weekend. We're getting ready for Halloween around here. So it's an exciting time. Let's see. Let's do let's do this one. And have a great weekend.